You are listening to your number one station, RX Radio. Fatboy here. How you doing? And I'm hanging out with the amazing Olive today. Hello, Olive. How you feeling today? How you doing?
I'm feeling great.
Feeling great?
I have this cold that just won't go away.
Well, I am also just recovering from mine. I think it's the season.
I think so. Because normally when I have colds, they go away so fast. This one is lingering on and on.
Really?
Yeah.
When did you start to feel the symptoms, if I may pretend to be a doctor?
I know. I started feeling this way over a week ago. And normally within 3 days, I should be okay. But I'm not getting fine.
Oh, have you been drinking enough fluids?
Of course, yes.
Have you been taking Panadols?
I don't have a headache. I had a headache in the beginning, but now I'm fine.
Are you taking lemons and are you taking honey and ginger and all those things?
Yes, I am. All that stuff.
Wow.
By the way, I was told by a friend of mine that works for the Ministry of Health that there is also another streak of COVID-19, though I don't think it's what I have because I didn't have the other symptoms of COVID-19.
I think we suffer from the pandemic of labels because the thing is coronaviruses, as they are known, have always been in existence, because
The common cold.
yeah, basically what we understand as COVID-19 is a variation of a common flu, but perhaps just more virulent and more easily transmissible and so forth, but with almost a similar fatality rate, and I think because we weren't really aware of what was going on, there was a lot of paranoia, and we, in so doing, were failing to protect the most vulnerable. And so, for example, we'd lock down the whole country. Instead of saying this mostly targets people, like the people most vulnerable are those of a particular age, so let's deal with them. Let's make sure that they're healthy. Let's make sure they get early treatment. Instead, we just, you know what they say? What is it they say? It's like killing a what? I forget the saying. Basically, making the point that we overdid it, if I can put it that way.
Yeah, to a degree we did, because even for the children that weren't susceptible to the disease, when they went back to school, they had the worst colds we have ever known as parents. And some pediatricians were saying that some children were actually testing positive for COVID-19 because the bacteria that they're used to had been taken away and their immunity had gone low because they were not exposed to germs.
Wow. And I'm sure obviously COVID-19 has mutated several times since we last saw it in the news.
Yeah.
Because that's also another thing. It's just not being talked about.
But it is still there.
Because before, when it was still like the big story, every 2 months there was a new variant. What, you think it just stopped evolving and mutating from that moment?
No, it didn't stop. Only that maybe we don't have as strong and killing variants like Delta.
Yes, maybe Delta was the worst, wasn't it?
It was.
We lost a lot of people to Delta. But here we are. And, as we come to the end of 2022, perhaps we can look back on all of those challenges and be grateful for having made it this far, right?
That's true. That's true.
Please, 2023, we need those blessings because 2022 has been rough for a lot of people. Also, this being the month of December, we've mentioned before that this is the time of year that the most breakups happen. So if you happen to be in a relationship, you will want to be on high alert for any signs of danger lurking about that might compromise your relationship. Now, some people like to say when you detect problems in your relationship, the way to solve it is to communicate more.
Yes.
How do you feel about that? Do you think that goes a long way towards smoothing the rough patches of a relationship and making it continue?
Yeah, communication obviously makes the relationship grow stronger. But when people talk about communication, we need to also talk about the tone. Because it is one thing for you to talk to me, communicate to me about something, but which tone are you using?
Tone?
Yes, the
As
tone.
in being loud or being soft?
Yes, sometimes you
being...
could be so loud. Sometimes you can be so imposing and you think you're communicating. But what I'm hearing is that you're trying to shut me down, you're trying to suffocate me. But then away from the tone, sometimes there is what we call over communication. Like every minute we are talking about the relationship. Every minute. It gets tiring.
I kind of figured out a way to solve that puzzle because it is a thing that a lot of guys get confused by because we keep getting told women want us to communicate, and then the times when we do try to communicate, we tend to find that they are not so open to it or responsive to it. And apparently this might have to do with a woman's cycle. I have read somewhere that when a woman is in ovulation, she tends to be drawn to displays of more masculine traits. So, in other words, traits such as confidence, a bit of
Protection.
no, but I guess okay, they tend to get more drawn to men that display more aggressive tendencies.
Really?
Mildly aggressive. I don't mean like physically aggressive, but like
Okay.
a guy who's a bit, do you know what I mean? Not too easily shaken. A guy who's firm. A guy who's
Stands his ground.
stands his ground. A guy who may not be as may cater to everything that you may want. If you know what I mean, right? These are
That is
traditionally,
when women are ovulating.
those are in other words, the bad boy.
Because my understanding is that when we are ovulating, we are quite hormonal. We can actually be related to a woman that is experiencing her first signs of pregnancy. And around that time, at least from my experience, is that I need you to actually care, to be more in tune with my feelings.
No, not when you're ovulating.
When I'm ovulating,
No, that is
yes.
that is in the premenstrual and the menstrual
No,
stage.
when I'm
That is where you need a guy
ovulating.
who's going to rub your feet, ask you about your day, serve you tea.
But you see, the
a
thing-
sweetheart
the
is what
thing
you
about
need. When you're
ovulation-
ovulating, what you need is a hot man.
No, there is no one size fits all when it comes to ovulation, because first of all, we are dealing with hormones right here. So what works for one woman may not work for pretty much the other woman. So if someone says women want this and that is general during ovulation, I don't agree with that, because we are different.
So essentially, is this your way of saying, all right, guys, stop trying to figure out women, you'll
No,
never
all
get
I'm
us.
saying is that
You're telling us to not bother trying
because
even.
what you were describing is not what I feel when I'm ovulating. When I'm ovulating, I need someone to be there, to
No.
care, to be. You get?
When you're ovulating, let me tell you what women respond to most is, like I said, displays of aggression, strong masculine qualities, strong physical masculine qualities. So this is when the hunk is going to get your attention mostly, the cool dude, right? The sweetheart is going to bore you during ovulation. You do not want the sweetheart during ovulation.
I'm like listening and trying
because
to match this.
what is
and it
ovulation?
doesn't make
Ovulation is
sense.
your body essentially preparing itself for fertilization,
Yes.
right? Your body's trying to get you ready to get impregnated.
Mm-hmm.
And so traditionally, the qualities that women look for impregnation tend to be the more, how can I say, visceral, visual cues of good health and fertility, or rather good health and status, such as the build of the body, such as height, such as the tone of voice. Basically, a masculine dude. When you're ovulating, your body's tingling up the wazoo. What do you mean? You've not felt that before?
No.
And
No.
when you're not ovulating during your premenstrual menstrual stage, you kind of just want a sweetheart who's just always there and catering to your whims and supplicating to you.
So what you're saying is that during our ovulation, when we are answering the question about communication, when do we want people to communicate?
During that phase when you're not ovulating. When you are ovulating, you probably want less communication and more action.
Okay, that is so sick, because I honestly don't agree with that. But maybe because I'm not.
You want to be grabbed.
I am not every woman, so I believe some
You want to be
women feel like
grabbed and
that.
kissed and made love to and just romanced in all the best
The
ways.
made love to is true.
You see? There you
The
go.
made love to is true, but not everything else that you've said.
But anyway, so what do you think? You think for different women, different rules, so approach each woman differently and
I guess it goes down to understanding your person and how they act.
read
and
the vibes in the
Yeah,
room and
like
decide.
read your person, because
and-
even for you, a guy,
It sounds like too much work though.
it is not
doesn't
too
it?
much work, because even you have your moments when you don't want to speak, when you want your alone time, when you want your peace and quiet, and you may find that
For
that
some
is
of
who
us,
you
that's
are.
our default state.
No, yes, and then there is a guy that just wants you to talk every time you're
Really?
silent.
There are
he's
guys
"Are
like
you
that?
Okay, why are you not?
The guys who
speaking?"
want you to talk.
Yes.
Like you have a guy who tells you, "Hey, all of you, so quiet.
Yes.
Why aren't you talking more?"
Yes, and you're
there's
like,
such men in
this
this
is
world.
how I am. What, you thought everyone is a recluse?
I thought most men are like,
Shut up.
Yeah.
You can be there, but you don't have to talk
Hey,
until
I'm
you talk to.
I'm watching the game.
Uh-huh.
Don't bother me.
No, some men actually like to hear their women talk. So that's why I'm saying we are all different people. So you
Talk about
cannot
what,
say
though?
you. There are so many things to talk about. What are you saying?
Talk about what we're going to do later?
Are you gonna do something later? Always.
Well, you should. Then what are you doing? But we want to know what you think about this. How important do you think communication is in a relationship? And is it all about understanding when the communication is appropriate? Because if we're supposed to essentially walk on eggshells, not knowing when to communicate or not, we're doomed to failure because we'll keep stumbling and saying the wrong things at the wrong time. But let us know what you think. Go to our Twitter or go to our Facebook. Let us know what you think. Or you can reach out to us through the RX Radio app and join us here in this conversation that we're having here with Olive and Fatboy on the Fatboy Show. Do we have a caller on the line?
Yes,
We do. Hello, who's this?
Cynthia, hello.
Hi, Cynthia. How are you doing?
I'm alright.
Oh, Cynthia, I know you for being a great communicator. The times we've spoken on this show, you really know how to communicate.
I hope I do.
So, clearly you like to communicate. Is it important for you in relationships?
I think communication is everything in a relationship. However, there is communication and comprehension. Yeah, there is. You might be
Yes, yes.
and someone else is understanding something else. So
Okay. So it's one thing to communicate, like to express your feelings or views to your partner, and it's another thing for him to get it.
yeah, it's an entirely different thing for someone to understand you.
And then the other thing is, are they really listening, or they're just waiting for you to stop talking so that they talk back?
There's that.
Weirdly, I think it's a stereotype that we keep putting on guys. And oh my God, I really don't like being on men's side.
You don't like what?
But I don't like taking men's side. But
Uh-huh.
I feel like it's a stereotype that so many women keep putting, because I've come to realize that when a man really is interested in you and likes you and all that, there's not even, it's not a conversation. Communication is not even a conversation. It's not an argument, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Something that comes easy. It's normal.
Yeah. Well, I'm guilty as charged. I'm famously poor at communicating, and I've been told this many times. I don't know. I've always wondered if I'm autistic or something, because when I try to talk to women, I come across as conducting an interview, so it kind of feels awkward, and they don't really feel like they're expressing themselves to me, you know. So I'm yet to learn how to talk to a
It
woman.
sounds more like a Q&A.
A Q&A.
So what
How
do
are you? Where did you go?
Uh-huh.
How was work?
So if I want to marry you, like that thing you say, well, how you talk to a lady you considered for marriage.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is what I'll do. So what will you do? Hey, how unromantic.
I don't know. Could I just have a cold heart? What is my problem?
Maybe it's not a cold heart. What do you think it is?
I think what Fatboy is describing is that what you said, Olive. Just he has questions in his mind, yeah? So he's not listening to what these people are saying. He's just like, oh, what's your name? How are you? What do you do?
It's like he has a script of sorts he has to follow.
Yeah.
Maybe, and so it comes across as though I'm not interested in a conversation, and maybe that makes them feel bad.
Yeah. Because if I'm going to speak to you and all you're going to, like, I'm talking and before I'm done, you're even interjecting and asking me another question. I'm like, did you even listen to what I said to the last
So what's the best
question?
way to, okay, so how do you talk to a woman? You let her talk and then you just keep quiet and nod your head. Because Chris Rock, the comedian Chris Rock, did a skit where he was saying the way to talk to women is just let her go on, because she's not asking, she doesn't want solutions. She just wants you to appear to be
interested,
connecting with her at an emotional level, like feeling the pain that she is feeling. She wants to be acknowledged. So if she's maybe talking about some difficulty in her life, she wants you to say, "Oh, that's terrible."
But you see, saying
that must make you feel so bad.
But saying that reduces women to what? Like you're making it look like women do not understand when someone is just actually paying them lip service. We understand when you're genuinely interested and when you're saying things that you really mean, or when you are saying things just to say something so that you appear interesting and interested.
But the thing is, actually, it works because I have tried it.
Those are bimbos.
I have tried it. I have tried to do that whole routine of just sort of letting them talk and carrying on and just nodding my head and just, just getting them to keep talking. And afterwards, they seem to feel better.
And then what happens when she says, what did I say?
Except... Although of course it lands them in trouble sometimes because sometimes she may want a solution.
Exactly.
But I'm operating in that listening mode. So she can be like, the rent has come up and I have to pay it. And I'm like, oh, that's terrible. What are you going to do about it? How does that make you feel? No, dude, she wants you to offer to solve the problem.
There are even jokes that if you have a guy and you tell him your problems and he's like, oh my goodness, so what are you going to do about it? Just know that your train has reached. Please board and move on.
But you see how unfair it is because you condition us to be that way because the times we try and offer solutions, you punish us by saying, you're not listening.
But there are times when you're not listening or times when you don't really understand. Like I just tricked you right now and you were not listening. That's so funny.
So what are we to do? I feel like there's no solution to this problem. Cynthia, what say you? You'll have the last word on this.
Oh my gosh. I think maybe. And do not pretend. Just truly insert yourself in a conversation. Truly want to know. Do not listen. Do not fail to listen just to answer. Do not have your script ready. I think communication is so complex.
Be present.
Be present. That's
yes.
it. Well, it sounds good in words, but in practice, I have no clue what that even means. So I guess we're stuck in the same place. But I want to thank you so much, Cynthia, for reaching out to us. Always a pleasure to talk to you. You're such a great communicator. Let's communicate more next time. Okay. Right. Enjoy your weekend. All right. Bye. Keep listening to your number one station, RX Radio. We bring you so much great music and amazing conversations.